This is Johnny, the chubby, Caucasian, Christian, closeted conservative. Some might say I'm everything wrong with the world, but don't take their word for it. Make up your own mind. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Chubby Caucasian Christian Closeted Conservative. Doing something a little bit different today, so I don't want to waste any time. Let's jump right in.
Ladies and gentlemen, from all around the world, thank you for joining us today. I would like to prepare you for a controversial conversation.
So, for my first guest, I thought I would have on probably my best friend, definitely my best friend, to be my guinea pig and help with this. I have Dan with me here today. We grew up, just a couple of doors down from each other?
Yeah, pretty much.
Dan and I have lived life together. We have been through basements flooded, life and death, school, girlfriends, wives, weddings.
Yeah,
Weddings. I had the privilege of having Dan as my best man at my wedding. And Dan, I don't think I've ever told you this before, but it was I probably have told you this. It was a privilege to be your best man at your wedding. And
same.
during my toast, I actually, you probably don't know this, but I deviated from what I actually wanted to talk about. I actually wanted to talk a little bit about your father and how proud I thought he would have been at you at that time. However, when I got to my notes in that section, I couldn't get it out. I couldn't. I just froze, and I knew if I was going to say one more thing that I would just break out into tears. So I just didn't hit that. But Dan, you and I, we've lived life together. We're not just like weekend hangout buddies. We've seen each other high and lows. We've even gotten in a tussle here and there. Remember outside your pool falling down, scratching up your face and stuff?
I do remember that. Man,
So
I thought that I couldn't shave for like a week. You know that, and when I finally could shave, it was so painful. Oh my goodness.
So, Dan, we've talked a little bit about what kind of the direction I want to go here. Do you mind telling us a little bit about just yourself, maybe where you're living right now?
Well, I am living in the great state of Florida. Thank you, Ron DeSantis. He's one of probably the better governors. I do a lot of different jobs, and right now I'm in the computer security kind of world at the time. I had some military service back in the day. And like you said, we just grew up together. We've had different experiences, and from my military service, I've actually gotten to travel a lot of the world, and I've liked traveling. And so, you get to see different cultures, different aspects, and you get to see a different side of the world and how they view things compared to almost the standard American view.
You once told me a story, or began telling me a story about some children running towards water or something, running after trying to get water.
So I was in Djibouti, which is a small little country, a very corrupt little country off the coast of Africa. When I got there, I was told the president lives in the neighboring country of Ethiopia. His wife is the top drug dealer in the country, and so they have all their money. And they pretty much use their country, and they just parse it out to different militaries. I think the Chinese have a base, the U.S. have a base, French, Italians, any major nation has a base there. I think Russians as well. And so this is what I was told back then, and I don't know what the status is right now. But the country, you could see, was very poor. And I remember they picked us up from the airport and they drove us over to the base. And I do remember the road leading outside the base. You saw naked children running around rubble. The road was in complete disrepair. They were literally looking for like water. They looked starving children, quite literally. and it was very interesting experience. And I asked, hey, why is the road so bad here? And they said, well, the U.S. wanted to pave it and have it for a nicer road, and the government said, no, if you pave it, you have to pay us. I'm like, wait.
Djibouti, the government,
Yes, yes. So
they're going to
it's
charge you to do your own work.
yes,
All right, that's a pretty good scheme.
it is a great scheme because the road was horrible. Well, the U.S. didn't fall for that scheme, so they just, the road just remained crap. But yeah, going there and you saw, I know there's always a conversation in this country of, oh, weed should be legal and all drugs should be legal, and I kind of lean on the libertarian idea of if it doesn't hurt me, I don't give a crap what you do. But I mean, this country that they sell, it's called cot. They sell it. It's cheap. The people go, they buy it, they get high, and about 2-3 o'clock every afternoon, no one did anything. And you have a government that, you know, no one I clearly no one cared that the president just sold the drugs to them and ran away and did what he wanted with their money. And they were just they got themselves high, and that's how they dealt with their situation. I kind of feel like there was no motivation to want to try to improve their living conditions, because I gotta say, it was pretty bad, out there, especially in the outer areas where the U.S. military base was. The inside area was not as bad. I don't know. But
In some of my previous episodes, I've talked about the NFL, and I know we didn't talk about this previously, but we're both at one point. I've kind of fallen away from the NFL a little bit this year, but we're both Green Bay Packer fans. In fact, Dan bought me my stock in the Green Bay Packers. We went to a game together. It was awesome to go to Lambeau Field. Totally different experience. Dan and I.
One time the Lions won in Lambeau. The one time.
The one time. Yeah, you can break out the schedule and find out when Dan and I were there. It was the one time the Lions won in Lambeau. But it was just so interesting being in that stadium after experiencing Washington and like Baltimore, just in these major cities. We park and peed. We paid $10 to park in their backyard, and their biggest complaint was that we didn't get close enough to the fence so they could fit another vehicle in.
Yeah, that was really nice of them. They were like, "Yeah, just come use our bathroom. Do you want?" I think they even offered like, "Hey, you want a beer or something like that?"
Yeah.
We're good.
Some woman gave me shots when we were just like walking around. I just did a shot. We've talked about this before. I really have conflicted emotions when it comes to the NFL. I love the sport. Mm-hmm. And previous years when I've had a more difficult job and stuff like that, I've looked forward to Sundays and sitting down and watching a game. But now, with my current job, I work during the days, and I have time to video chat with you, start my own podcast, pay attention to the news. And the more and more I found out and learned and read and educated myself, the more conflicted I felt every time watching a NFL game. I know we have talked about this in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really judge anybody, Dan.
I know you don't.
I know military people. I know police officers. I actually know a Baltimore City captain police officer down there.
Oh, nice.
I mean, poor guy's a Jets fan. But he says he says the NFL is the only thing that gets him through the week. He looks forward to it. He gets those couple hours on Sunday to sit back. He opens a beer and watches his team lose, and then the following morning he gets up and he goes back into Baltimore City.
Yeah,
where the crime is just out of control. He's been shot at. He walks up on scenes where there's dead bodies and stuff. Can you give your perspective a little bit with your military background, how you feel about the current NFL?
I was actually at the game where Colin Kaepernick kneeled for the first time.
Were you?
Yeah, because it was a preseason game. I was out in California at the time, and it was preseason, so the tickets were cheap. And I'll tell you, no one noticed it. I mean, I didn't notice it. Everyone stood, and I guess on TV it made a bigger difference. No one noticed it. I don't mind. It's you have the freedom of expression. That's why we served is, you're allowed to do what you want. That's if they want to do that. I still think they're kind of hypocritical because I don't see them actually putting their money where their mouth is.
I agree.
They're paid so much money, and I know they do the Man of the Year award or something like that.
Yes, yes.
And you have the small foundations, but you're talking people that are making hundreds of millions of dollars over the course of several years. You're telling me that they don't have charities set up to, like the Detroit Lions, they can't help out Detroit, you know, like, you know,
Chicago.
So
Well, we don't expect
Chicago,
much from the Bears anyhow.
yes, it's Chicago. So, um, I just, I don't mind their protests. I don't mind them doing all this stuff. I ignore all that stuff. I really think it's hypocritical to watch, watch these people complain when they're given the most opportunities in the world or the best opportunity in the world. I'd kill to be, like the water boy that making like $100,000. Watch it. If you gave me $100,000 to serve Aaron Rodgers or Devontae Adams or someone water, man, I'm done. I'll be happy with my life. I don't need to do more than that. Um, but they don't use all their fortune. They make their political statements. They go online. They make the little statements and stuff like that. But they don't make a physical impact. And maybe they do, and it's not publicized. But I mean, I feel like a lot of them have egos that they, even if they like give like a homeless man $1, they would videotape it and post it for the world to see to kind of give them their little ego boost. So
Now, people, first responders and people with military background like yourself, I have heard both views. They're offended by it.
mm-hmm.
They fight and died they know people who fought and died for that flag, and that it's disrespectful and it offends them. But I also know people, and maybe you're in this camp, who are like, I fought so that they could kneel if they wanted to. Is that the two opinions that you find, or is there a gray area that us civilians aren't aware of?
No, I see those two opinions, and I always find it funny when you have people that said, "Oh, I served and this offends me," because as you know, in the military, we have colors every morning, 08. They sound, we call it first call to colors, that says, "Hey, 5 minutes," and then colors is going to start at 8 o'clock. And if you're driving on base, you stop. If you're walking on base, you stop. Face the sound of the music. Salute if you're in uniform. Stand at attention if you're not. The number of times I have seen people running to get into a building so they don't have to stand for the national anthem. That they kind of, I'm not going to go outside because I'd have to stand for the national anthem. The number of people that I see always, and you see this on every military base. I saw it, when I was on ships. The number of people doing that, you're just like, okay, so you're just gonna kind of run away and like, I don't mind, whatever. I spend 5 minutes. They play the song of our country. I'm gonna stand at attention and do what I need to do. But the number of people that constantly running away from hearing the national anthem, so they don't have to stand at attention, especially on like cold mornings.
Yeah. So it's not that they, don't respect it. They just don't have the time or want to spend the time to do it.
Oh, you have 2 minutes to listen to the anthem.
Okay.
You have 2 minutes to listen to the anthem because people will stand outside or stand inside a building and not go out.
Now, Dan, I know you've done it.
I don't. I've pulled people out and said, "Hey, let's go."
Come on. And I've had
people stand next to me, and we do it. Like I said, it's because the school I went to was kind of a military heavy school, and so I saw people do it there. Yeah, I did that there. We all ran away, and then you're like, I'm running away from listening to our country's song for what? 2 minutes out in the cold, it's nothing.
Yeah.
So that's what I said. It's kind of I do see the two camps of like, I fought and I fought for your freedom to do this. They kneeled. I don't think kneeling is disrespectful. I think it is of the things he could have done. If he had stood there with the middle finger to the flag, that would be a little bit more disrespectful. But he decided to kneel. He thought it would be respectful. I thought the crowd reaction and the reaction by everybody else was a little overboard. You know, he wanted to kneel, and then I think his comments really was what really drove it over, and then his follow-on actions. But let's be honest, he was an irrelevant player with poor stats at that point in time.
When they first started kneeling, I was pretty okay with it. It offended me, but it wasn't enough to change the channel. It was really when the whole thing with lift every voice and sing. Now we're playing that before. I know I've talked about this in previous episodes, but I want to know where the goalpost is. What is the standard? Am I allowed to kneel for lift every voice and sing?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's a great question. That is a great question. If you ever find the answer, please.
That's a good question.
Please let me know. Please let me know. I would love to know.
So, I mean, the idea behind kneeling is that we don't, like, there's things that they disagree with the anthem about. So, would kneeling for the lift every voice and sing, would that like stand saying, I don't know, is it appropriate to stand?
Are you supposed to put your hand over your heart? I'm assuming.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I actually, like, I've watched all the games this year.
Yeah.
Maybe not through the most. I'm making sure the NFL doesn't get my money the best way possible. But I mean, I've never heard the song being played. I mean, I listened to your podcast the other day, and I'm like, oh my goodness, they do a whole little thing, because I thought it was just like, all right, we're just gonna play this song first. But do they ask people to stand?
I don't know.
I really haven't even heard it. Like I said, watching the games, they don't even show the national anthem anymore. Maybe they'll do it during the Super Bowl.
Yeah, maybe. And it's the worst part about it is that I feel like this like all-inclusive agenda that the NFL, it's divided us more than anything, because lift every voice and sing, Dan, it's such a beautiful song, and at the end of it, it talks about the Lord. And I know you're a believer, you're a strong man of faith too, and I mean, like, after the end of the song, I want to say amen. But this beautiful song, unfortunately, I feel has been used to divide us, and maybe I'm looking at it from a wrong perspective. I'm just a chubby Caucasian Christian closeted conservative.
Yeah, right. I mean, like I said, unless you're at the game and they play it, I don't understand. I understand like why they feel like they need. Actually, I don't understand why they feel like they need to. I'll be honest. Like, okay, like, you want to see equality? Let's talk about equality on and diversity on the NFL field.
70%, Dan. 70%. 70% are African Americans. And let me tell you what, the whole thing with John Gruden came out, he criticized female referees. Can we all just find common ground that every referee in every single sport is just an awful individual?
Oh my goodness, yes. And I think it's fair to criticize all referees.
Okay.
Female, I can't even tell anymore.
Gender, sexual orientation, race.
They're all horrible. Horrible. Let's be honest here. You watch the Packers.
Yes.
And everyone's going to say, oh, the Packers get all the calls.
Aaron Rodgers takes some hits.
Aaron Rodgers takes some hits, and then we get plenty of flags on, hey, roughing the passer. I mean, he did a textbook tackle. They got Clay Matthews touched the quarterback.
Yes. Clay just looked at him sideways, and they're like, "Oh, that's roughing the passer."
I always I would text your mom during a lot of the games. I should probably start this season too, but like, I know I told her, like, this is not roughing the passer. So,
all right, Dan. Well, it's been lovely having you here. Hope to have you back soon. Thank you so much for meeting with me and letting me be your allowing you to be my guinea pig. I appreciate
Anytime.
it. And I love you, brother.
Always a guinea pig.
And I love you. And tell your mom I said hi. And I hope you do well. All right.
All right. I love you too,
man.
brother.
We'll see you.
See ya.
That's going to wrap us up for today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed our controversial conversation. I'd like to give a shout out to Dan for allowing me to interview him and being the first guest on my show. I would like to encourage anybody who wants to join this controversial conversation to look me up on Facebook, Anchor, or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search the Chubby Caucasian Christian Closeted Conservative and look for my eagle. I had a family member paint that eagle, and I loved it so much that she gave me the original. She's very talented, very patriotic, so I just encourage all of you to go to check out her Redbubble account. I have a link to her account in my description, but if you just want to go to Redbubble and search Robin N. Brown, that's Robin as in the bird, N as the letter, Brown as the color, and just check out some of her artwork. She's very talented, very patriotic. There's a lot of cool items out there. You can get some of her artwork on travel mugs and backpacks. You can even just get a print to hang up in your house. I'd like to have my buddy Dan on again. I hope everybody enjoyed the conversation. If you could just rate, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm really looking to start a conversation with my audience. So if you want to be part of it and you don't want to type, please go to my Anchor account. There's a very cool feature there where you can leave a voicemail. Unfortunately, it can only be a minute long. If you have multiple things to say, please leave multiple messages. You can find the link to my Anchor account in my description. You can also look for it on my Facebook. You can also go to Anchor and search the Chubby Caucasian Christian Closeted Conservative. And for those of you who don't want to search or don't want to subscribe to my podcast and you have an Alexa, you can now ask your Alexa to play the Chubby Caucasian Christian Closeted Conservative podcast, and she'll play my most recent episode. And we will see you later.